Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself. I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday to you. Thanks for being with us right here, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. JJ and Alex. I'm Alex. He's JJ. What's going on? Everything okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm not the mammoth or the BYU basketball team.
Boo.
I'm good, personally.
Boo.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Fans of both teams are going through it a little bit. I'm not.
Tough weekend.
Listen. What's interesting is that I think both teams are still that they're looked at and they go, okay, they'll be fine. That's kind of the consensus, but I don't know if it's true. I certainly don't know if it's true for BYU. That's the part for me that I have a hard time convincing myself of or helping other people convince themselves because, and I told people this before the thing, go back, check the receipts, because I hated the idea of Final Four bust. I love having high goals, fine. But the reality is that's not a reality. No. You can't expect a team to just suddenly go, oh, Final Four, they're Final Four ready. There's not a team on this planet that you can go auto bid to the Final Four. I don't care who you have. And so I hated that expectation for them. And that makes the disappointment even greater, right?
There's no question about that.
I hate that. I hate that you're
we do it to ourselves all the time as fans.
100%.
Even some of us in the media
get a little bit too excited
about it. We get hyped about stuff.
Yeah.
You get excited about certain things, and you see the potential, and you get caught up in it.
The irony of all of it, of course, is that you still have the best player in the land. This was not a disappointment of –
No.
This has not been oh, man, AJ didn't pan out. In fact – he's probably, I would say, outperformed what some of the expectations were. He did exactly and more of what people were expecting out of the kid. But having that and going far in March and April have nothing to do with one another most of the time, okay? And so you can have great players, great. Do you have a great team? The answer is right now BYU Basketball does not. So let's kick things off there. If we're going to go full depression mode right off the bat, JJ, geez. I guess it's our fault because we're doing it.
You asked me how I was doing.
I know. We're doing fine. AJ DeBonta is still the number one overall pick by most metrics in all of the mock drafts.
And the Mammoth are technically still in the number one wild card spot.
Can't feel great about it.
Heading out on a 5-game road trip.
Oh, and it's all far away too. Mm-hmm. They're going far. Ugh. All right, let's kick things off here officially, though. So let's talk some college hoops because I'll tell you what, not a lot of sunshine and rainbows for BYU or Utah right now from the basketball front, but how about those Aggies continuing to set the record straight that they are, hey, you know what, I'll say it, Final Four or bust. Come on. They're a good team. They're supposed to go to the Final Four now. Why? Because, they played so well.
Yeah, Coach Calhoun, we wanted to
put him in the Final
make your
Four.
life a lot easier.
Put him in the Final Four. We're
going to hype you up.
I hate that. I hate that people just automatically go, well, it's at least Elite Eight. Otherwise, it's a terrible year.
Well, you know what's crazy about Utah State is there were higher expectations for the Aggies than they've had in a while. I think because of the success they've had over the years and then having Coach Calhoun back, having some of their best players back, there was a feeling that this team could not only win an NCAA Tournament game, but they could get to the Sweet 16 for the first time ever.
Well, let's kick it all off officially here. Producer Alex, everything good over there? Everything copacetic?
Everything good, man.
Good.
Hey, Real Salt Lake had a good weekend.
They did. They were able to beat the Sounders 2-1.
Was that an expected outcome?
Yes and no. Sounders haven't won in Salt Lake in maybe 14, 15 years.
Yeah, let's keep it that way.
15 years.
Let's keep it that way.
It's not like they never play each other. It's not like they're on the East Coast. How in the world has RSL beat them for 15 straight years?
Is there an equivalent of that in other sports, like that you have?
It was like the Spurs used to own the Jazz. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. There was a streak And it didn't matter where it was
during
either.
peak Spurs, the Tim Duncan, Ginobili,
but down
Parker
in San
years.
Antonio, yes, it was it was same kind of
Jazz
thing.
couldn't beat the Spurs
12,
for
15
10
years, something like that. Yeah, that's a very similar go there. So let's kick off the show, though, officially here. Let's get to the cut. We'll talk some more college basketball. Let's get right to it.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, so let's talk about it. BYU goes to West Virginia, and the wire-to-wire loss that they had against UCF at home, that wasn't a good look. Going on the road to West Virginia, I think a game that everybody sort of marked down is, all right, chalk that one up to a win. Don't tell the Mountaineers that, though, because they went to West Virginia, and it was a similar thing, JJ. They just could not ever reel them back in. After they let loose, after West Virginia finds a groove and a rhythm, they do the same thing where they fight back, almost all the way. They get pretty close, and then they just can't close it out. But it's a too little, too late situation. And BYU doesn't just stumble there. I'm worried about what the rest of this schedule is for BYU before they get into the Big 12 tournament. What is your observation about what has been so different about this team because everybody goes, I knew this would happen with Richie not there. But they beat out Iowa State. They beat one of the best teams in the country, a team that a lot of folks have going to the Final Four and maybe even a national title contending team. How is it that they could do it against them and they haven't been able to do it in the last couple games against teams that they were supposed to beat?
Defense, rebounding, effort. I think there's been plenty. Jonathan Tavernier, we're going to have him on tomorrow, I believe, briefly anyway, because we have a 1-hour show tomorrow. But he called out their effort this weekend, and he's right. That was a poor effort in the first half. Kevin Young was asked about the effort in the first half. He called that first half when things went out as kind of West Virginia got it going and went on a big run. He called it a joke. Like this team is not playing hard for 40 minutes, and that's disappointing. When Richie was there, Richie's was an 18-point per game scorer, and he also rebounded at a 6 rebound per game clip. So they're missing the rebounding and the scoring of Richie Saunders.
Yes. And
I think Richie was a better than average defender. I don't really get enough credit for how well he defended. But you're losing somebody that's 6'5", 6'6", at the wing position that is no longer defending, and you're not replacing him with anybody that can defend. So you've seen the defensive numbers dip dramatically with Richie out of the lineup. So I would point to defense, number one. The rebounding obviously is down. The bigs have not stepped up. The one game where they did step up, where the bench stepped up, where everybody stepped up the way that they needed them to, was Iowa State at home. They had several guys. Kennard Davis had a great game in that game. Mihailo Boskovic had a really good game against Iowa State. They haven't had the production from those guys in the last two games. But the effort in the last two games was dramatically poor. That the UCF game, they weren't defending the perimeter at all. It looked like they were lost. It looked like they didn't know what to do. Wide open guys in the corner of the gym just throwing up threes, and they're going down, and you're like, what are you doing? Like, you're leaving these guys wide open. And they had wide open looks, and they were taking them. There was guys who were taking them from 25 feet, but they were open, and they were hitting them. So it's a combination of things. The defense is bad, but the effort is not good. You can't play like that and win at that level. And that team, even with all the stuff that's happened to them, and I think we're all willing to give them a mulligan because of the injuries, but even then you're like, come on now. You guys can do better than this.
So I'm looking at BYU right now is technically tied with West Virginia for 8th or 9th in the conference. Very dead middle of the conference. They're 8-8 in conference play, okay? They have 2 games left in the conference schedule. One of those against a top 10 Texas Tech team that's really, not only are they good, they've had, speaking of teams that have other teams' numbers, Texas Tech has had BYU's number the past couple of years.
Tied for second in the conference.
And they are tied for second with Houston, and they come to Provo for the final game of the year. Can they pull out some magic there? BYU's got to go to Cincinnati, who's also had a pretty darn good go over the past little while. They've righted the ship a little bit. They're also at 8-8 in the conference, and they figured some things out. Losing 4 games in a row if they go into the conference championships like that, JJ, Is it a done deal that this team is into the NCAA tournament? I know that everybody goes, oh, I mean, they're projected.
They're in the tournament. And there's no way that BYU is plummeting that far out of the tournament, especially with AJ on the roster. But when they get there, what are they going to do? That's the question I would want to ask.
You don't feel good about any of the rounds. You don't feel good about them getting past the round of 64.
Unless the effort changes, they're not winning an NCAA tournament game.
I don't think that they'll lose. I don't think they'll lose both of these games. I don't know what it looks like, but playing at Cincinnati, I think you're going to see a team that comes out at Cincinnati and there's going to be some desperation. That could work in your favor. It could be bad. It could be really bad because Cincinnati is also in this kind of fighting for their life situation. They don't have a great overall record, but they're 8-8 in conference, just like you are, BYU, and just like West Virginia is now. So if you start to get on the other side of a losing record in this conference, I don't know. And by the way, conference play, JJ, it's not just a tournament. Conference play is a big extension of can you get hot? They're going back. When you look at teams and you go, can this team put together something right now? Are they finding the right time to peak at the end of the year? It's in conference championships that leads into the NCAA tournament. And then you keep that run going. I don't think there's anybody out there that thinks that BYU will suddenly start to find some version of them peaking, and gelling together as a team. Hasn't happened so far. Happened against Iowa State, I guess. But how do if you can't rely on your bench on a night-to-night basis, it's tough. So they've got those 2 games left. They're at Cincinnati, and then they're hosting Texas Tech this Saturday. And those are going to be your final 2 games before the Big 12 championships in Kansas City. So it's going to be a rocky, I think, couple of weeks for BYU.
If they don't win this game against Cincinnati, I don't see how they're going to beat Texas Tech, and they're going to end up being the 10 seed in the Big 12 tournament.
And they'll be
10 seed.
And they will have a losing record in conference play. Because right now they're fighting for their lives. If they win 1 out of the next 2, they're going to be 9-9 in conference. And that's as good as they could do. They could win these 2 games. They could get on a little mini heater here before. And then they would find themselves in that 6-7. Oh, boy. Hate myself. I can't. We can't even talk about sports anymore because how stupid that is, okay?
Honestly, at this point, I think the best they can do is 8th.
So an 8 seed in the conference tournament. What were they last year? Like a 4, right? 3 or 4? Because I think they got a bye.
I think they were. Yeah, they made the top 4 last year. Remember they?
Okay. So, and by the way, Texas Tech, who had their number,
but
they got them.
Yeah, that's a good team.
Regardless, there's a lot of work to be done for this BYU team that is not even on the court. I think stuff that's got to get done on in their heads. You know what I mean? Got to turn things around. Got to create the fate. And I don't know if there's a way to do it with this little time left in the regular season.
It's going to be fascinating though to see if, and I don't know if this is something that AJ has to do as a freshman, if that team can find some way to dig deep this week and figure it out because they're running out of time. And maybe Texas Tech is that game that helps them figure it out right before the conference tournament. Even with all the injuries, this team is still good enough to do something in March. You got the number 1 player in the country. Rob Wright is an elite point guard in college basketball. You have enough pieces. Kebakeda has top-end athleticism at the center position. You have enough pieces to be able to do something. What are they going to show us over the next 2 weeks? What do they want their season to be defined as? I'm really curious to watch that develop. But I'm really worried that there's a little bit of, I'm not going to use the Q word yet. I'm not going to do it. But the last 2 games felt a little bit like that. I think you know what word. I'm not going to say it.
I get it. That's fine. But
it's not quite the Q word yet, but the effort is pretty poor.
Come with it now.
And I'm not going to do it.
Okay. I don't. But again, this is while you're seeing AJ DeBonsa getting all of the accolades, getting the freshman scoring record, he is still at most. He keeps rising up most of these mock draft boards. So you have this guy who's having a better year even than people thought he was going to have as a guy who already had come in as the number 1 overall seed. And then you have the team absolutely going flat right now. And that's just the craziness of college basketball. That's just the wild nature of where BYU finds themselves a year removed from, magic happening in year one for Kevin Young. But again, you kill yourself with the expectations as a fan base, as a group, everybody getting together and going, oh, here's what's going to happen next year. Because, look, they're going to be even more talented. There hasn't been I don't think there have been times, even walking up to this, even before the Richie Saunders injury, there were games where we're like, how could they maintain this? How can they still give up 90 points a game and then try to rely on 80 points from those three guys?
We got our answer.
Every game.
Richie got hurt.
Goes down.
And
they become a different team.
They've run out of gas. They're losing games. They're stacking L's.
Yeah.
That's what happened. You can't rely on 2 or 3 guys to carry you. This is a team game still.
It's a real bummer because obviously the expectations were so high. And they were there, and then everybody goes, well, what happened? What'd you do wrong this time, Kevin Young? And then they start to question the money. They start to ask about all those. And by the way, they're already investing in next year and the year after in terms of recruits. You're already going to see big names coming in again, likely, with big numbers next to them because that's the price of entry now just to even be part of the conversation. So has the Big 12 gotten so much better? I'll tell you what's gotten better. All those teams that last year were in the NCAA tournament, as Big 12 members, whether or not they snuck in or not, think about how much better Kansas has gotten this year. They had better players last year, right? Darren Peterson isn't even actually part of the conversation, I feel like, because he's played in so few games. He's been interesting in some of the games he comes in, but they haven't relied on that guy, so to speak.
Exactly.
Kansas has gotten better. Texas Tech is somehow better. Houston, that team was in the national championship and somehow, that's a team that I think we all looked at and went, they'll be right back there again.
They got younger, but they're still elite.
They're still really good. And then there's Arizona, who just continues to keep getting better. Iowa State, a lot of people have them. You're going to see so many brackets with Iowa State going to the Final Four, at least in so many cases. So those teams all got better. And then BYU takes what looks like and feels like a massive step backward. And it's unfortunate because from the defending standpoint, and when you have bad defensive outings night after night, week after week, everyone's going to ask about the effort part. And I know that that's a bummer because these kids are trying really freaking hard, but they haven't figured out some things on defense. And that's the part I think that's a bummer for this team is they're getting questioned on their effort, which is always very hard to try to understand.
That's why I don't throw that Q word around very lightly because there's not a bigger insult to an athlete than telling them they've played.
And I don't think I don't think that's the case. I think that there is a version of being lost a little bit. And not really kind of find it. You still haven't been able to find yourselves. And then saying also, I think we can lean on these guys. But that hasn't been the case even when Richie was there. You can't lean on those guys in this conference. So for me, it's a bummer. They got to figure it out. We'll see what happens these next 2 games. I think you're going to see them go 9-9 in conference play. I think you're going to see them at a 9 or 10 seed type of situation.
You're more optimistic than me. I don't think they win this week.
You think they go, and that would put them at 4 losses in a row.
Why is Cincinnati going to be different than what we saw on Saturday? Also, on the road, tough place to play, and they're not beating Texas Tech.
Yeah,
they don't have the horses right now to beat Texas Tech. Texas Tech just went to Ames and beat Iowa State by almost 10.
Remember when that was BYU last year?
You're exactly that's a great point.
Remember when that was BYU last year?
That's a great point. That's where BYU was last year in that category, in that top 4.
Yep.
They're at 8th right now. And they have a chance to finish 10th.
They'll probably fall if they don't win both. And if they just win one, might stay where they're at, 8-9 seed in the Big 10 or the Big 12 championship championship.
A win over Cincinnati tonight puts them at the 9 seed if they lose to Texas Tech.
Okay. All right, and then you got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And the conference championships, they come at you fast too. And every team gets in there and goes, "Who cares?" And if they smell blood in the water, that team wins. the one who takes advantage of you feeling like you're not yourself, they're the ones who just go in and go, don't care. We'll play you and we'll win. So if you're the 9 seed and you're trying to play and you're playing the 8 seed, that's not an easy ask. All right. Utah falls to Arizona State. They get the season sweep by the Sun Devils, and it actually wasn't close most of the game here. I want to know what your thoughts are as they get to the end of this one. They've won 2 games in conference play, the Utes. And I know that they've had a whole thing. I mean, they're changing the whole staff up. Alex Jensen, are people expecting more out of him at the very beginning here? Do people look at this as as a unique situation where he gets quite a bit of slack to be able to work with here at the very beginning of getting his program going.
Year one, did anybody expect them to win, go to a tournament? No. You were trying to figure this out. We knew they had a lot of work to do. And he has a lot of work to do, and his staff has a lot of work to do. And you're not going to make any judgment on him as a college coach right now. You're not making any judgment on the program beyond where they're at with development. More importantly, they're going to have to go out and find some dudes. If you're going to win in the Big 12, look around. Look what BYU has in their roster. And again, I know the injuries, but look what BYU has in their roster. And they're looking at a 10th place finish in the Big 12. You have A.J. DeBonsa, and you're going to finish 10th in the Big 12. So, yeah, Utah's got a lot of work to do. They've got some nice players. How many of those players are part of their future? I don't know. They're going to have to figure that out. But it's going to take some time up on the hill for Alex Jensen to figure out who his guys are. I know they're recruiting. They just brought it. They got a commitment from an overseas player, and I know they're really high on. And that might be where they have to dip in a little bit. And that might be where their staff has some expertise in going out and getting some international guys, as opposed to the kids in the U.S., the NIL guys that maybe they're not in the run yet. But maybe next year they are. Maybe in the offseason they find a way to do that. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. But this is a process that's going to take some time. I don't even think next year they're going to have it figured out enough to be even in the NCAA tournament conversation. This is a long-term deal. And I know that sucks for Utah fans to hear, but I know you see it. It's pretty obvious. This isn't going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen next year either. So I would say a 3-year plan where you want to see this program go from where they're at right now, we're in the bottom of the Big 12, to the top third. And by year 3, you're in the NCAA tournament conversation. I think that's the ideal scenario for Utah. There's just no way. You can't skip steps.
Yep, I get it. Although it feels like Utah State has skipped some steps. They just get there every year. In the same breath as we say that,
they never got down from the steps.
I guess not.
They just stayed where they're at.
Yeah.
And no matter what coach or player comes in, this is Utah State basketball. We're going to win 20 to 25 games a year. We're going to be in the NCAA tournament. Now, we have a ceiling. They haven't been able to win more than one game in a tournament.
Yeah.
And they haven't done it very often. The ceiling has always been get to the tournament and lose. But that's a heck of a lot better place than where Utah's at.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
And for Utah State to be doing what they're doing again this year with some of the changes they had to make. And the Mountain West is down this year. And I'm not sure how to judge that because I want to say Utah State has a chance to win a tournament game this year. They're probably going to be a 7 seed. So a 7-10 game, flip a coin, right? Can they pull off a win over a 2 seed? They weren't able to do it a couple years ago when they won that NCAA tournament game over TCU. Well, I think it was a 1 seed they played in Purdue. The winning that next game, that's been the obstacle for them, and it's a lot to ask for that program to do. But in past years, the competition in the Mountain West has been fierce. Hasn't been as fierce this year. The Aztecs are down. The Lobos are okay. Both those teams are on the NCAA tournament bubble. But it's very possible that the Mountain West gets one bid this year. Unless somebody beats Utah State in the conference tournament.
All right, let's take a break. A lot of negative vibes this first segment. I blame you.
Sorry.
Hey, and you know what?
I'm just being real. Look, I'm not going to come on the radio and blow smoke.
Look, last year, Utah State, BYU in the tournament. This year, it's probably going to happen again. Feels very different, though, doesn't it?
Much different circumstances. But hey, right matchup, I think Utah State's got a shot. I really do.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll come back. Hey, we got some sound out of Provo from last week. LJ Martin talking about his updated status after surgery to repair that shoulder. And we'll see what LJ feels like right now going into spring ball. Spring ball is underway, at least for BYU. And you'll start to see a lot of these other teams rolling out this one as well. A lot of the Big 12 teams starting up this week and next week. Still haven't gotten word from when Utah's going to start things up here, but we'll keep you on top of that. But you'll hear LJ Martin right here next, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone. This gets me excited. Pumped about it. I was driving through the neighborhood back home, and I saw these two girls who live. I don't know them, but I see them playing out a lot. They're about maybe half a mile from our house. I always see them when I drive past going into the neighborhood, and they both had blue number 47 jerseys on. They had these way too big for them, and they have bear fever. And I thought, what a wild time. Number one, remember when you were a kid, and not that long ago, actually. Maybe no, you were a kid a long time ago. Don't forget that.
Very long time ago.
But not that long ago, you would wear just a generic number 1 for your team, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought, that's funny. These guys buy these Bear Bachmeier jerseys. Bear gets a little chunk of the proceeds.
Good. That's
the way it should be.
That was
right?
the original intention of all this.
Put the names on the back of the jersey. Yeah. The kid wants to wear the jersey with the kid's name on it anyway. And I thought, what an interesting spot to be in. No one cares that the number 47 is on the back of their quarterback anymore. That lasted about 2 seconds. I'm actually shocked how non-weirded out people were very quickly with that. And then on top of it, how quickly he made people forget about Jake Retzlaff. And that's not a diss on Jake at all. It's the tremendous job that number 47 has done in the short time. I'm fascinated what he'll do with a full spring, summer workouts, full camp as him being the guy instead of wondering. I don't know how close it was or how early it was in the process, but at some point we were tipped off to Bear's the guy.
It was a weekend.
It was like a week into it, and we were all like, I think that guy might be making the start. The guy with the big legs, the centaur. Gosh dang centaur out there.
Gosh darn centaur.
And just to see how this team is, where they've gotten over the past little while, right? And LJ Martin, of course, we find out, was injured during the Iowa State game, injured his shoulder, played through it, kept playing, ends up getting surgery in the walk up to the bowl game, right? And he seems to be coming along nicely. BYU had their media availability at their very first spring practices, and LJ talked about that injury and where he's coming from and how he has gotten better and even feels like he's pretty close to right now being able to go. Here's what LJ said at the very first spring practices for BYU.
Yeah, I'm feeling great. It's coming along nicely. Just been trying to get healthy, and everything's going good.
Was it a difficult decision to come back and, rather than take your talents to the NFL?
Yeah, it was kind of difficult because that's what you dream of as a kid. But ultimately, I think this was the best decision, just coming back for another year and being able to do some stuff at BYU.
Who were the people you leaned on in the decision to kind of help you kind of make the best educated decision?
I would say it's my parents and then my mentors like Coach Harvey and Jamal Williams and guys like that, just talking to them, hearing their advice for me and what they have to say to me.
Jamal's interesting because he played in the league. What was some of the advice that you're willing to share that he kind of recommended to you in the process? Yeah,
it was kind of funny because he was just enjoy it. You only get to be in college one time. You only get to do it for a set amount of time. So he's like, as much as you can, just enjoy it. The NFL's not going nowhere. If that's something you really want to do, you can do it. But if you can come back next year and you can do the same thing. So I took that advice and came back.
What's your timetable, health-wise, to being back in full strength?
I would say I'm pretty close to it.
Really, right now?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You may have partially answered this question, but what were the reasons why you came back? You kind of talked about Jamal and saying enjoy your time in college, but what else drew you back?
I would say it's that and just being around these guys, just being around my teammates, I don't know. I just enjoy being around them. We go out to eat. We got corn dogs the other day. I mean, it was a great time. So I just like being around them, and I like playing football. So just coming back here it's fun.
How much of a factor was trying to break through and get that Big 12 championship and ultimately the playoff?
I would say that's a big factor. I felt like, we had 2 opportunities these last 2 years to do it, and I feel like we'll have another opportunity this year, but we got to make the most of it. And for me, when I think about getting drafted, it's you're going the first day, so I just wanted to be able to come back and give myself that opportunity and just see where it goes.
Running back depth was an issue last year. What are you seeing from the running back room, and how much better will that depth be this year?
Yeah, I don't think it was an issue last year. I think we had all the guys. I think we did well in that room, and I feel like we got the same guys, and we're going to do great this year.
What did you see from Joves in the bowl game, and how good can he be for this team?
Yeah, he could be really good for us. He had a lot of opportunities last year at the bowl game, and he did really well with his opportunity. I was proud of him, and we saw it all in practice. So it was just him getting the opportunity, and he finally got it, and he was able to make the most of it.
What's this next month for you going to be like?
It'll be a lot of just hanging around, just trying to get the younger guys right. We got Devon in now, Micah, the guys like that who are learning the offense. So just trying to teach them, trying to make sure they're up to speed, and they look good today. So I'm excited for them.
That's how you get them back. And we'll have the freezer chock full of corn dogs when you come back, LJ. That's how you get kids these days, JJ?
That's a true motivator.
Look, you got to pay them, but sometimes pay them in corn dogs.
You're paying the kids, but they still like a free meal.
I get what he's saying, though, where he's just like, look, right now, just enjoy the stuff that's not the – even though this has now become more business than it's ever been, I think that, even guys who have been in this version of the NIL get to the NFL and go, oh, no. This is the football business. This is the real football business. We kind of lived in a weird fantasy world of money floating around and just getting checks, and that's honestly, I think it is such a different – even the NFL is a stark contrast to even right now what college football looks like, even though these guys are getting paid. And for somebody to come to LJ and go, hey, look, and to have Jamal Williams go, hey, look, man, just enjoy this because, this doesn't happen for very long. And so – And the reality is I don't know if it's like I'm coming back and I want to win the Big 12 championship. I don't think he has more to prove except for team accolades because he's already gotten the personal ones. And he can't do much better than Offensive Player of the Year in the Big 12. You could step it up on a national level. What's interesting is that a guy like L.J. Martin, Offensive Player of the Year in the Big 12, he won't even get a sniff at the beginning of anything being a running back at a Big 12 school as part of the Heisman race. You got to be Jeremiah Love level, which is mostly the Notre Dame part of it. And then the other part is, an insane athlete, which LJ is. But he's not going to get that. Running backs just aren't treated like they used to be treated in the Heisman race.
They don't have the same value. Yeah, you're right.
For him, I don't think he looks at it and goes, I want to win the Heisman Trophy. I want to do that. I think it is genuinely. I love this coaching staff. I like these dudes who are in the locker room with me. Like, that stuff still matters. And
you get paid while you're doing all that at the same time.
100%.
It's the best of both worlds now.
100%.
And this is what the whole intention of NIL is to give these guys what they deserve and also give these guys a chance to continue to live that college life. They don't get it back. That's great advice that Jamal Williams gave him. You don't get it back. Enjoy it.
Yeah, it's an interesting time to see the guys who came back. I think a lot of folks, when they saw that Faletau Satawala returned, they went, oh, that's a guy who could have found his way somewhere else, and he did not. L.J. Martin, we had him in the NFL in our heads. This entire show, we had a unanimous, there's no way, why would you go out on that note, you go to the NFL as the best player in the Big 12 on the offensive side of things. People love how big this body is. That's how you look. The pros, you got to pass protect as much as you do anything else really well as a running back. And he has an NFL future. And you assume, because if you have an NFL future, JJ, telling these kids like to wait it out, that's a hard thing to do, but it's a lot easier to do when you can pay them and when there's the prospect of them getting even better and mastering their craft even more, and maybe even going up on that draft board.
Absolutely. And I think it says a lot about the culture of the program when the star players want to stay. Because if you're a star player and you have an out, you take the out, right? I'm going to the league or I'm going to another big program. These guys all chose, for different reasons, to be back on this team. And it's a good sign about the health of the culture at BYU. If anyone questions that, you can question a lot of things, but I don't think you can question the health of the culture there. That guys want to be there, they want to stay there. You have the combination of what the school gives them, what the program's giving them, and, of course, the financial part of it.
Right.
And that's going to allow BYU to continue to play football at this high of a level on a consistent basis. Because you've got to have guys stick around, and you got to have the best guys stick around. And we're seeing that this year, and you should be very excited about that if you're a BYU fan. I think if they can figure out the receiver position, which is a major concern right now, I lump tight end into that as well.
Yeah.
If they can figure that out and get a lot of production similar production. BYU's right there competing for the Big 12 championship with Texas Tech.
Okay. Good news coming out of Provo there. Kalani was asked about the Parker Kingston deal, and I think that because that's going to be a question on the first day of camp when you're able to get a face-to-face with the head coach. And he said exactly what I think the rest of the program would do well to attach themselves to is you have no reason that you can think any more on it than what it was, and that is a guy not on your team anymore, so why talk about it?
He was dismissed from the team. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
You move right on.
This is not one of those deals where they're keeping him around and hoping to get, you know what I mean?
Oh, no. No, and I think that the team goes,
and that's the way things were with Jake Retzlaff last year. It was like,
yes, it was touch and go.
I
and
don't
it was
know.
like,
what's going on here? Was Jake and how is this all going to work out? This was clear cut.
Yep.
Like, this is a complete separation. He is no longer part of the program. BYU's moving on. So you don't have to. There's no reason to discuss anymore. We all get it.
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got more around the corner. Hey, guess what? We get to jump in on some of the people who, next hour we'll get into people who didn't have great weekends. This one, though, the Weekend Warriors, people who had awesome weekends, people who won the weekend. We'll get into that and much more right here, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. It is JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Always love being able to recap the weekends after great performances. Look, Mondays are awesome because we have so much to be able to dive into. And, of course, there's a lot of local news that has been happening over the weekend, not the least of which was that awful game. A midday Sunday game for the Mammoth, perfect. You know, we turn that thing on middle of the day. The kids are like, oh, there's hockey right now. I'm like, absolutely. Absolutely. We were watching the gold medal game the week before on a Sunday morning. And now some matinee hockey.
Yeah.
It turns out we needed to watch them at night. Turns out they needed a nighttime
They didn't get
situation.
up out of bed. They didn't wake up in time.
That was a weird game. We'll get into that next hour. In the meantime, our Weekend Warriors, people who won the weekend here for us. Hey now, don't forget, it's been tweeted out, Shams bomb today with the word Jazz in it. It's always good to have some news, and the Utah Jazz are semi-affiliated with it. Breaking news adjacent. It's always one of my favorite things to be able to call the Jazz.
Yes.
So it appears that Trae Young will make his Washington Wizards debut finally against the Utah Jazz on Thursday. It's being reported. Whether or not that happens or not, I don't know.
He might play he's going to play, but how long is he going to play? You know what I mean?
It's good for the Jazz. Hey, put up 35. Trae, come on.
Is the commissioner going to fine the Wizards? Still waiting on that fine for the Wizards.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know.
Anytime, commish. Anytime.
I don't know what the line is for when you do and don't call it, but there you go. Trae Young, he's going to make his first start of the year for the Washington Wizards, and it's going to be against the Jazz on Thursday. So, is it Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. Okay. All right, so a couple things going on. If you're a Utah State basketball fan, we'll go straight to the Utah State part of it, and then we'll get to one of the alum who are making you proud. But let's get to Utah State. Drake Allen absolutely owning Grand Canyon over the weekend.
Mason Falslev. Back to Drake Allen. Allen coming around the screen. Allen driving and throws it down with two hands. It's Drake Allen's night tonight.
Whatever he ate for breakfast, duplicate it every day. Whatever he started doing at 6:30 this morning, just write it down, and he just has to do that.
Drake Allen gets the pass, throws it down over Demerol. What was that? Holy smokes. Drake Allen, the dunk over Demerol, the 7-footer.
Your thoughts on Utah State basketball right now, who are currently still in the lead in the Mountain West, get a big win over Grand Canyon over the weekend. It's been awesome to watch. Like they've had moments where they've kind of gone through some harrowing times, some head scratching losses.
Team's had plenty of adversity.
When they lost it, when they had lost to San Diego State and Nevada in that same week, or that within a week span, and because you lose by so much to San Diego State, you look and you go, gosh, they just had that win over San Diego State, and then it turns into this, and then and then you're like, okay, where are they at here? But getting it back, getting a win over Grand Canyon was huge for them. But more importantly, they have 2 games left of the regular season, and they're likely going to be that number 1 seed in the Mountain West tournament. And good on the Aggies. Good on Coach Calhoun. It's awesome.
Yeah, so you got at UNLV. They owe them big because UNLV upset them. Again, another rough patch in Utah State's season.
Weird blip.
Remember the loss at Grand Canyon and losing at home by double digits to UNLV at home? They were able to overcome that, and they went on like a 9-game win streak.
Yep.
Then more adversity last week. You lose at Nevada, tough place to play. They lose at San Diego State, tough place to play. But the San Diego State game didn't feel like they were ever really in it. Well, they bounce back from that, and they get a win at home. And you know what? They had a great first half. They did not have a great game. They scuffled through that second half, and they found a way to hold on and win it.
Got to win.
Give Grand Canyon a little credit. But when they're not playing well on offense, they still know how to win. And greasy wins help you in March. If you learn how to win greasy, you can win games in March. And this team can win greasy. They can also win by just absolutely lighting you up. So there's a lot to like about Utah State right now, and a great win on Saturday for sure.
So UNLV, you got to punch that. You got to punch that ticket, or you got to beat those guys.
Yeah,
when you go down to Vegas. But how fun will the Spectrum be on Saturday against New Mexico coming to town?
Oh, my gosh. A Mountain West regular season title on the line if they beat UNLV. An outright Mountain West title on the way out. Remember, this is the last year in the Mountain West.
Yeah.
Utah State would win a Mountain West title the last time they're in the conference. That would be a perfect ending for this program in this time.
Fun way to get in. Of course, they blew the doors off in New Mexico down at the pit. And so I think that New Mexico is going to have some designs, obviously, to come in there and try to sneak one away from Utah State. I would hate to be shooting free throws in that stadium if I'm the New Mexico Lobos. My goodness. All right. Neemias Queta, by the way, 27 points, 17 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Here's what it sounded like for the best game that he's had in the NBA so far.
And White will take. Good job by Edgecombe State, kept alive by the tip from Shireman. A lob to Queta at the basket. It was great what it could have been. Shireman, no. Queta, see, Red? Stay there, it's coming to you. And then one. Drummond giving space and turned it over.
Gave it right back. Comes up with the steal up one end by Drummond and gave it right back to the Celtics.
White accelerates the
How about Neemias Queta, dude?
Great story.
Look, I think everybody knew, like, man, that guy's got a ton of potential. Legit 7-footer. He's long. He's crazy. On defense, he's the kind of guy that general managers lick their chops on. But that doesn't mean it's going to translate in the NBA. And by the way, translating in the NBA means, in his case, grinding it out in the G League, figuring it out at that level, and the Celtics organization being patient with him. Is this the version of Neemias Queta that you think that you could see over a longer-term NBA career, or was that just a wild out of the blue night?
It is now. No. Well, so you bring up a great question. Is this a long-term deal? Can he maintain this type of success? He's taken a big leap this year, and he's taken advantage of opportunity. So coming into this season, he had only started 6 games his entire NBA career. This year, he started in 56 of 57 games. His minutes per game have gone up from 13 to 24. And he's averaging 10 points and 8 rebounds and 1.3 blocks per game. He is now a legitimate starting center in the NBA. And what a great story. And he might be the first from Portugal to be a starter in the NBA. And it's a great story. And, of course, he represents Utah State. You watched him in Logan for 2 years, and you knew he was special. But when you have to grind it through this and what were the Kings thinking letting him go, by the way?
I know. I was going to say.
The most Kings thing ever, right? You get a guy like that in the second round, and you don't develop him and hold on to him. What a great find for Boston. What a great fit for both Boston and Neemias Queta. He's killing it.
All right. Final one before we get out here. Found out today that the captain of the women's national team, Hillary Knight, she revealed that she played the full Olympic tournament on a torn MCL. So take that, Lindsey Vonn. She still won gold. Oh, that was mean. Come on. I'm just saying. Hillary Knight, blowing out MCL. She had it torn. She got it repaired after she got back. It's fine. Obviously, tough. MCL's different.
Tough.
But she's a tough player, man. That's an awesome story. Speaking of awesome stories, Tim Lacombe always tells great ones, and you're going to get him right here around the corner here because Tim Lacombe, the coach, is going to join us, Utah Jazz pre-half and post game host with Jake Scott. He's going to join us next, talk about this Utah Jazz team going forward. Stay here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.